These are the images seen year after year of wildfires. An inferno of flames, heat, and smoke. And those fighting the fire, men. But there's a group of firefighters rarely talked about.
I remember when I first got into this job, one of the first people that I was working for said, you know, you might not want to do the whole nail polish and makeup thing every day. People won't take you seriously. Since that day, I've pretty much always done nail polish and makeup, mainly for the reason I know that I will be taken seriously because of the fact that my training, my experience, the way that I work, how I treat people, what I do, will speak to me as a firefighter.
Everyone has something to contribute. We have weaknesses and strengths in different areas, and that's what makes it a really successful agency. For me, I know I'm never going to be as strong as the guys, but it's not because it's a lack of trying.
Kim George is one of 2 female firefighters out of 30 at her station. This statistic isn't rare. In fact, it's the norm for the nation as women make up less than 10% of the United States Fire Service. As wildfires continue to grow bigger and more destructive each year, I wanted to get to know the women on the front lines fighting California's fires, hearing their stories, challenges, and finding out why we don't see more women fighting the flames.
This intense firefight is now underway. I know because of the conditions, they are having to do all of this by hand.
This is handwork, guys.
We knew that the fire is approaching Myers. We were ready to go. We were wanting to do whatever we could to try and protect our community.
Coincidentally, this day was her 20-year anniversary with the South Lake Tahoe Fire Department.
There was embers raining, and it was almost to the point where we were needing to back out.
The Caldor fire blazed for over 2 months. It burned 221,000 acres, destroyed dozens of homes, and came within a hair of South Lake Tahoe. For Kim and her crew, protecting Tahoe was a welcome and victorious battle. As a municipal fire department, it was a fight to keep her city standing. For other firefighters, these types of firefights take place deep in the woods.
Specifically about the Forest Service, what kind of does that take to be in this line of work?
We have a lot of people come in to this work and they've spent their lives in the gym, but it's a different kind of strength. You're carrying heavy object up steep terrain for long periods. It's hot. There's ash everywhere. You're getting very dirty. So it's not necessarily just because, you know, you're a female, you might not be able to have the upper body strength, or because you're a male, you're gonna have it. And I think it's just working, being able to overcome the challenges mentally to get there together.
Despite being in different agencies, what Kalina and Kim have in common is they're both women in the fire industry. Both fought the Caldor fire, and both are in leadership roles overseeing crews.
It's challenging, it can be. It's really just, at times, making sure that you're the hardest worker in the room.
The limited amount of female firefighters in leadership roles is something some are working to change.
Early in my career, I didn't necessarily see myself promoting into leadership roles because I had not seen any other females in those leadership type roles, truly until I got involved with the Women in Fire organization.
Amy Hannafin is now the president of Women in Fire, a national nonprofit agency.
We try to be the voice for women in the fire service.
Why do you think that there's so many, why that ratio is so weighed heavily for men?
It is a service very founded in tradition, and traditionally it's been a male-occupied field. That changed, basically in the 80s.
Amy says a cultural shift in the mid-80s and 90s addressed different issues women saw in the fire industry and helped create change.
And I think that a lot of women worked to kind of prove themselves a bit and show that they could do the work.
According to the National Fire Protection Association, since the 80s, the number of female firefighters has gone from about 1 to 6% nationwide. And while it's more women, they still make up a minuscule amount of the overall fire force. Specifically, the study said that for 370,000 career firefighters, 15,200 were women. That's just 4%. And current information on how many of these women are specifically in leadership roles is difficult to find.
I would like to see more women encouraged to promote. And then I would also like to see some numbers on what that looks like.
Kim and Kalina have climbed the ranks in their agencies since both starting when they were just 19 years old.
They had hired 6 people. I was the only female.
So I never really thought of like it being boys' work that I was going into. It really never really entered my mind as being something that I couldn't overcome or to be a challenge really even.
But within her first couple of years on the job, she faced a different kind of challenge.
At the end of my time being on a hotshot crew, we were towards the end of the fire season and I got stage 3 ovarian cancer.
She was just 22 and had recently started dating the man who is now her husband, also a firefighter.
And gave him the understanding of we both didn't think that this was going to happen, and I don't know what the outcome's going to be because it's such an aggressive cancer. So if you need to bail, I totally understand. And he said, no, I think together we're going to beat this. So he stuck around, and it was knew then it was going to be for forever.
It took 3 years of chemo, radiation, and surgeries, but Kalina did beat it. And while Kalina's battle with cancer was at the start of her career and is far behind her,
I've been in remission for, this will be 12 years now.
Annual physicals are typically required of all firefighters to ensure they remain healthy, as the job comes with stress, physical strain, and lots of smoke inhalation. But data on female firefighters' health is basically non-existent. It's something the Women in Fire organization wants to change, as well as bring in new studies.
We're currently working on a project where we're coming up with best practice recommendations for OBGYNs who are working with female firefighters through their pregnancies, which is something we haven't had before.
But physical sacrifices aren't the only ones being made by all in the fire service. Warmer temperatures, dry conditions, and PG&E-caused fires have made fire season almost a year-long fight.
It's an understanding that we have, knowing the kind of job that we do. If you take the amount of days I was gone and the amount of days that he was gone, it totaled to 236 days apart.
There's things that you lose, that you sacrifice for it. I have 2 boys. They're teenagers now, but when they were little, it was really difficult to leave them at home.
But through their work, they're displaying a powerful message for the future generation, one that they hope will be filled with more women on the front lines of California's fires.
And so I love that they have this concept that women can do what they want. I mean, there's no limitations.